Hello everyone, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video, and another one in the series in which I'm taking a closer look at the full discography of the Rolling Stones, and we have arrived in 1976. Or at least this album was released in 1976. It was mostly recorded late 1974 and early 1975. And I'm talking about Black and Blue. And Black and Blue is an interesting album because critics were divided. Some people said this was the start of the decline of the Rolling Stones, but looking back in hindsight, what is this? As a matter of fact, Keith Richards called this album the album in which they used to audition the new guitar player. There were a lot of people coming over to Munich and Rotterdam. So that's interesting. It was recorded in Munich and Rotterdam. I love Munich. Munich is what, 8 hours drive from here. Rotterdam is just around the corner. I was there yesterday, and so it feels like an album which is recorded pretty close and nearby for me. And they were doing auditions, and as you might already know, Ron Wood became the new rhythm guitar player, and you can hear that there are different influences here on this album, and that they're searching for some kind of sound. Now, this is not a greatest hits album. There's one hit on here. I love that song. But it is nevertheless an interesting album. And I'll talk you through my emotional journey while listening to this album for the first time. I'll start with a little bit of information about this release. I'm holding here first UK pressing. And it got some sunlight here, just across the eye of Mick Jagger. Beautiful gatefold. And this album is not that expensive. I bought it for about 10 euros. And the first thing when I put side 1 on and I listened to the song Hot Stuff, I believe that's the name. Yeah, Hot Stuff. First thing I notice is, okay, this might not be one of their great bangers, but comparing it to the earlier albums and the sound of It's Only Rock and Roll, which sounded okay, and compared to the one before that, Goat's Head Soup, which sounded pretty bad. This one, especially in the first UK, it sounds great. It's, I mean, the full mid qualities of the guitar, it comes across. This is a beautiful, really beautiful sounding pressing, and this is a good recording, man. This really sounds great. And that is the first thing. It's not just some audiophile bullshit I'm telling you guys here. When a record sounds great, the emotions come across better. And where Goat's Head Soup has moments in which I don't really fully believe them, it might be the Stones' presentation. It might be they're not fully committed. But when it sounds better, it's easy to go along in the emotions which are there. And I go along with this. I went along with Hot Stuff. Although, as an opener, as a rock song, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. You know, it's not a bad song. It's not, I mean, it's not Satisfaction, you know. Second song, Hand of Fate. I wasn't really into that. I thought, I kind of understand what the reviewers were talking about. Not as inspired, working on cliches more or less, then to Cherry O Baby, which is a reggae song. Not bad, not very inspired either. If I want to hear some good reggae, you know, I go to Peter Tosh, which the Stones actually released on their label around that time, or Bob Marley. You know, there are better reggae artists than the Stones, but it is interesting to hear the Stones do some reggae. Not greatly into it. Then you get Memory Hotel, which is too long. I think it's too long. It's a 7-minute song. It is too long. And you can hear that this album has influences of... it's more like a jam album than 10 tight tracks. You know, there aren't even 10 tight tracks. There are 8 tracks, and they're not tight. There are some very long songs. So when I got to the second side, I thought, I truly hope this is not front back, because, you know, I'm not sure what I should experience. I thought the first side was 6 out of 10. Not bad, great sounding, but the Stones, they are enjoying themselves, which is fun. They're not, it's not just great songwriting. Now, and then I got to side B, and it starts with Hey Negrita, which is the song I believe got Ron Wood booked. And it's awesome. It sounds spectacular. It's a really, really, really good song. I got really, really into it, and the guitar is going everywhere. I believe there are even there's a horn section here. I did not make notes, but I'm looking at I'm looking at the inner sleeve, which has a track. So it's tough for me to really get. Or the second one. No, the song after this has horns. Anyway, it's impressive. Then we get to the second song, Melody. Yeah, Melody's the best song on this album. Melody's Billy Preston's song. Billy Preston was the main inspiration for this. He's playing on this song, and it's really, I mean, he's playing organ here, and the organ is dominant, and they're following it, and it's an incredible soul ballad. This is a very good song. I did not expect that on this album. It's very, very, very good. Then we get to Fool to Cry, the one hit on this album, and Fool to Cry. Stellar sounding, amazing song, awesome. It ends off with Crazy Mama, and Crazy Mama has balls. That's a rocker. I mean, side 1, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Side 2, definitely an 8 out of 10. And it would actually, you know, I put this album somewhere between a 7 and an 8, because side 2 is really strong. It's really strong. I'm gonna play that for my friends. When they come over, when they drink a beer, I'm gonna tell them, did you ever listen to this 1976 Rolling Stones album? Because it's really, I mean, the second side is really nice. It's really good rock and roll. It has some great improvisation. It has a jamming vibe, and it gets to some great tunes. One big hit, but for a feel, for a flow, and for sound, I love the sound. Great album. Really great album. Good album. Not a masterpiece, but it's a good album. It's a great album. So what do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in my next video, in which I'll be talking about some girls.